It is a privilege to be here. Rex Horn, my pastor, when we was in Little Rock, had been telling me about this Saturday meeting. And, man, I'm feeling a lot of pressure now when I hear Corliss Williamson spoke. Man, y'all putting some pressure on me. That's a national champion right there, an NBA coach. Man. But Dr. Rex Horn has said so many great things about Bishop Arnold. He says he's your big brother. And so that means a lot to me, and it's a privilege to be here. I also, Coach Krausen's here. He was a high school coach at Northeast. We had to go against him. I was at Little Rock Central. We went against him, but he's a good coach, good man. It's so good to see a lot of y'all at Little Rock Central, and I see a lot of different other schools, but I got to mention a teammate of mine by the name of Mr. O.D. Phillips. O.D. Phillips, I used to turn around and toss that ball to him and say, go. That's all I had to do is say, go. And, man, he could make people miss. They'd fall off of him. But now, when I look back, that 7th, 8th, 9th grade, and I look at him now, he's a pastor. And he looks like he's still lifting weights. You know, I felt his shoulders. I feel like he's been lifting weights, man. But looks good. But anyway, I want to tell you a little bit about my Nutt family, and I want to start there. First of all, I have 3 brothers, and the basketball coaches got to go longer than the football coaches. I'm a little bit upset about that. Dickie, my next brother, he's next in line. He's number 2. He's at the University of Missouri coaching basketball. And Dennis, the youngest one, who's the only one made it to the NBA, which we're still mad about that. We thought we were a lot better than him. Dennis is at Ouachita Baptist going on his 17th season coaching basketball. Now, Danny's in Sarasota. He's parking cars. He has a valet service. He's in St. Jude in Memphis today. He parks cars, and he has about 10 college and 10 high school kids, and he's got them sprinting to the cars. And they say he does a really good job. And I do believe that. I do believe it. But anyway, I'm a fortunate victim of circumstance because I had a mother and father who gave me 2 of the most important things. Gave me love and time. We started, by the time we could really talk, we were 3 blocks from the Arkansas School for the Deaf. I don't know if you know this. There's only 1 deaf school in each state. So my playgrounds were the deaf school. What I loved so much about my father was by the time they were age 3, these deaf kids had to leave home from whether it be El Dorado, Sparkman, Fordyce, Hot Springs, Harrison, doesn't matter. They had to come to Little Rock, Arkansas School for the Deaf. And what I love so much is those were our playgrounds, and they didn't care where you're from. They didn't care what color your skin tone was. As long as you could sign, you were in the family. So we were signing before we could really talk. And I tell you, the next door neighbor would sometimes come over to my mom and say, hey, Imogene, that's my mom's name. Imogene, your sons need to start learning some more phonics, some ABCs. They're signing too much. Well, you know, my dad happened to hear that one time, and my dad sometimes has a temper, and so he came up those steps after he heard that conversation, and he started signing pretty fast. There wasn't any phonics or English going on. There was some sign language going on, and if you don't like it, you better get on. So he was the disciplinarian. To give you an idea, every other Sunday, we'd go to Fordyce to see our grandparents. And it was about an hour long. Right after church, we get in the car, mom in the front, dad driving, 4 boys in the back. And I don't know if you're like me. If you had brothers, sometimes we'd get in a little bit of a scuffle. And so every other question of my mom was, how much further? Not too much longer, son. Hang on. Well, we get to going back here in the back, Dickie and I, or Danny and I, and we get in a scuffle and talking about whether it be Elgin Baylor or Jerry West, who was better, or Dr. J, and all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. and ask the most important question, my dad would say, "You want some more?" No, Dad, we don't want any more. We don't want any more. We're good. So we're going, my dad has this Nutt Brothers team. We'd go across the state playing basketball. And I never will forget coming back from Tuckerman. It's 12:30. And we're driving in the driveway, and my dad looks at my mom and says, "Imogene, let's let those boys sleep in the morning now. Let's don't get them up for church." I said, "Good, we're going to sleep then tomorrow." And so went to bed, and that next morning, as usual, Mom's making gravy and biscuits. Boy, speaking of food, gravy and biscuits, that was a great meal. Wow, great job. Mom's making the Sunday morning breakfast, and she always laid the Sunday school clothes out on our bed. And I look up, and I said, "Mom, I thought we wasn't going to church this morning." "Oh, we're going. Doors are open." Okay. So I went on, I said, "I know Dad's going to get this right, because he always gets things right." So we got to the breakfast. I said, "Dad, we're not going to church, right?" That's the only time he didn't give me a real reaction. Usually he's dominant. But Mom said, "We're going to church." So we went to church. And so I had this plan. By the time I was 9 years of age, I was going to be in the NBA, NFL, or both. And why y'all laughing? I was this tall when I was in the 6th grade. I could palm a basketball. I was always picked first in my neighborhood streets. Picked first at the deaf school, picked first at Pulaski Heights, Forest Heights, little pickup games. I was picked first. And I never will forget, everything's going right according to plan. I was getting all these collegiate scholarship offers from over 250 collegiate colleges. Barry Bryant, Frank Broyles, Dick Vermeil, Ron Myers, all these coaches. And one day, Coach Bryant's coming up, and Coach Paul Bear Bryant's from Fordyce, so I already feel this connection. And he called and he said, "We're going to be a little bit late. We're down here in Fordyce visiting some relatives, so just hang on. We'll be there instead of 4 o'clock. We're going to be there at 6 o'clock. I said, "Great." So what do my brothers and I do? We go in the backyard. It's an 8-foot goal. It's 2-on-2, best of 7. And we got the ball that's a volleyball, so we could work on our stuff, Corliss. And we're dunking in. All of a sudden, this goes on a tree at about 8.5 feet, and it bounces outward. We have a fence at 6 foot that's away from the tree, and there he was, Paul Bear Bryant. There's no telling how long he had been there watching us. Houndstooth hat and everything, watching. He's tall. He's looking down at us. I said, "Coach, I didn't know you were here. I'm sorry. My mom has supper ready. We're ready to go in for the official visit." He looks at us, looks down, that hat on. "Finish the game." Coach, you really don't want us. We're just playing best of 7. I'm using them pretty good. God, you don't want to see. Mom has food ready. Boy, he looks stern this time, looks down at me. Boy, I said, "Finish the game." We finished the game, y'all. We finished the game. He walked in and says, "I got 4 scholarships for you Nutt boys. I'm going to Alabama." Remember now, he coached Joe Namath, Kenny Stabler, Richard Todd, all those heroes. I said, "Man, I'm going to Alabama." Well, next week, here comes Frank Broyles. I mean, him and Eddie Sutton walk in, because I'm going to play both sports. They walk in, Southern gentlemen. And Coach Broyles is slender. You know, he's 6'2", he's slender. And he's eating 2 of everything. Every time my mom asked him, "Would you like some more roast beef?" "Oh, yes, ma'am." And so I got to the end. I know he's full. And he says, my mom says, "Coach Broyles, would you like another slice of apple pie?" "Oh, yes, ma'am. And if you don't mind, write down the recipe. I want to take it home to Barbara. It's so good." They leave. And my mom says, "You got to go to Arkansas now." "Mom, you said last week I'm going to Alabama." That's how good these coaches were. But as you fast forward of that playing career, it goes so quickly. For the first time, my name wasn't called on draft day. Had a couple of surgeries, been through great coaches, got to coach for Jimmy Johnson, Lou Ho, got to play for Jimmy Johnson, Lou Host, Frank Broyles, all these guys. But that ESPN draft day, my name was nowhere to be found. And You talking about just a gut punch. It was athletic termination going through my mind, my dream that I had that it always was going just right. I'd given my life to Christ by the time age of 10 years of age. I had this deal with him. We're gonna make it. I'm gonna be the best quarterback / point guard in the world and tell the world about you. But all of a sudden, that door slammed shut. And I'm in Stillwater. I'm coming back from Atlanta Falcons. It lasted about 24 hours at a camp. And Jimmy Johnson's out in the parking lot. I'm getting out. He comes to me. He says, Houston, I hear camp didn't go so well. No, sir, it didn't go very well. Okay. Until that time comes, you lack 3 hours. You'll be living in that athletic dorm. Iba, you're going to be in charge of my freshmen. I said, yes, sir. As he turned and jogged away, he's with Dave Wanstatt and Pat Jones and some of these guys. And it's 102 degrees, not one hair out of place. I said, who is this guy? And I'm starting to get a little negative. The devil's into me now a little bit. I'm saying, who does this guy think he is? Little did I realize if I turned him down that day, he had 50 resumes of that grad assistant that makes $1.65 an hour. Somebody else would have had my spot. But I wasn't too pleased with that. I was thinking, But one night, the night before conditioning, in my dorm room, 8, 17, 18-year-olds come to the foot of my bed. They knock on the door first. Coach Nutt, they're peeking in, and I literally had to look around like, who is Coach Nutt? That's the first time I was called Coach. Coach Nutt. I said, yeah. Can I ask you a question? Scared freshman, scared to death. I said, come on in. They're sitting at the foot of my bed. Coach Nutt, it's conditioning test tomorrow. What will Coach Johnson do to us tomorrow? Guys, something happened to me that night in that room because all of a sudden I see these little bright eyes and they're hanging on every word I'm saying. I'm thinking, man, this is something. We go through two-a-days, and at the end of two-a-days, Jimmy Johnson says in front of the staff room, you know, we didn't have one freshman knock out a light and kick out a window or wasn't late for academic meeting, and they learned the fight song. I'm going to give that credit to Houston. And I'm in the back. So I punched Pat Jones. What did he say? He said, he's talking about you. Really? He bragged on you. Did a good job with the freshman. Wow. I couldn't wait to go tell my girlfriend, my fiance, who I've been married to now for 43 years, Diana. I went to her apartment. I said, Diana, you're not going to believe this. Jimmy Johnson, he bragged on me in front of Frank Falks, in front of all these coaches, Pat Jones. He bragged on me. And sometimes the ones that love you the most, they pour cold water on you. Immediately she says, are you talking about that job where you live in the dorm with these boys for $1.65 an hour? I said, yeah, Donna, are you sure this is what you want to do? Yeah, there's something, yes. You got to realize she graduated. She's a geologist. She's got an apartment. She's got things like a refrigerator, you know, a couch, a checking account. She got real life things. She can't understand. I'm in this dorm full of boys thinking this is going to be your life's work. Don't understand it. Fast forward after 2 years of grad assistant. Remember now, grad assistant's definition is this. I pick up the head coach's laundry. I pick up the kids, his children, take them to practice. I mow his grass and then splice film for 15 hours a day and be happy about it. So I go to it. After 2 years, Lou Holtz calls. He's at Arkansas. He's going to ask me back, be a grad assistant. But a little bit different because I'm full-time / part-time. So I go to Diana. I said, Diana, you ain't going to believe it. Let's go back to Arkansas. We got a chance to go back to Arkansas, our home state, and coach for the Razorbacks. Her first question, full-time? No. It's full-time, part-time. What does that mean? I said, well, I got a full-time responsibility, part-time pay. Come on, Don, this is how are you sure you're going on your third year? Third year, you ain't done nothing. We can't even make an apartment payment. This is it. So I'm going in that first week. I'm so excited. Lou Holtz, you know, he's only 5'9", but he scares you to death, man. He's a Hall of Famer. He's meticulous. I'm coaching the fullback. I go in there after you go 2 days, you eat, you come back in a room, you're sitting in a room like this. I'm in the back. That's where the grad assistant sits, and he says, hit the light. I turn the light off. I did a good job turning that light off, man. Bam, just like that. And all you could hear, he has a legal pad, and he's just taking notes, and he's going, no, one person talking. You got Ken Turner, Larry Bechtel, coach. You got Don Bro, all these great coaches, and look, Houston Nutt in the back. And here it sounds like this. Now, he smokes this pipe, and I can smell it now. It's Captain White. It's giving me a knot in my stomach right now, y'all, because it sounds like that. And he's taking notes. And he's 16 millimeters, not that video, Corley. It's 16 millimeters. He's running it back. Running back every play. Then he blurts out all of a sudden, who's coaching the fullback? Coach, I'm coaching fullback. Fullback did not step with a 6-inch step. Fullback did not attack the outside linebacker's outside leg. I thought you wanted to coach. Coach, I want to coach. I go home that night. I walk in the house, and Dinah says, what's wrong? Hey, Dinah, make sure you keep that job now. I don't know, man. What? What is it? I said, Dinah, I don't know. He seems like he's always on me. I can't do anything right. Come on. She's trying to give me a pep talk, but it ain't working. Come on, you can do better than that. You're going to be all right. Go in the next week. Boy, it's getting closer to the game time now, y'all. Getting closer. Boy, and the intensity's picking up. Go back in there at night. Now, one time before practice, Ken Turner and Jesse Branch, I noticed after practice, they're going this way to the film room. I said, what y'all doing, guys? Go on to supper. I said, okay, well, I go in there. They cutting out 2 plays from practice. Why are y'all cutting out 2 plays? We don't want Coach Holtz to see these 2 plays. Well, cut one out for me. I got one real, no, we ain't got time for you. Go to that meeting. Here we go again. Hit the light. I hit the light. Who's coaching the fullback? You know what, guys? He knows who's coaching the fullback. I tell you, he knows. He knows exactly who it is. Fullback refuses to go with 100% effort. Refuses to take the 6-inch step. And he asked this question, and I popped off from the back, guys. He asked this question. Have you ever gone over that play with him? And I blurted out, Coach, I went over that play 500 times with him. The projector stops. When the projector stops in a Lou Holtz meeting and all you hear is, you're in bad trouble, bro. What did you say? I said, Coach, I took him to the side. I went over that play 500 times. Obviously, you're a very poor teacher. Because I know how smart he is. I know how much he wants to be a player. And what's so significant about the number 500, Mr. Nutt? He ain't calling me coach no more, y'all. What's so significant about 500? Why not 1,000? Why not 1,500? Why not 2,000 times until the job's done? Guys, that's why I love Lou Holtz, though. I didn't love him in 1983. But he held me accountable. See, we live in a world today where they say, I confess, it's your fault. It ain't my fault. It's your fault. We live in that world where it's your fault. It ain't my fault. And so he held me accountable. What was on that film was my responsibility. I had to make a difference in his life. He loved football so much. That little 18-year-old loved football. I had to teach that 6-inch step. Even if I had to get a ruler out, I had to make sure if it took thousands and thousands of reps, I got to get it done. And I sit in this room today. That's why it's a privilege to be here, guys. We live in a tough world, and you're the difference maker. When we go out and recruit, we try to find difference makers, somebody who's going to make a difference on Friday night or Saturday night. Guys, when you go to that office, you're the difference maker. You're the difference maker. I went to Murray State the first 4 seasons, and I never will forget. It was great winning championships. We won 2 back-to-back with predominantly Arkansas young men. Great feeling. But there's one incident that comes up that's bigger than anything. And he's a guy that if he walked in, you say, wow, boy, he looks good. 6'4", 270. I mean, he could pump the iron. He could do this. He's a defensive lineman. One day he came into my office, guys, tears rolling down his face. I said, what's wrong? Coach, I got to go home. Why? Brother got shot. My dad's in prison. My mother's on meth. And my sister's getting ready to shoot herself. It's just, and he breaks down. He said, he makes this statement, I may be next going down. You know, he makes a little statement off the cuff about maybe it's time for me to go. And I said, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? I went up and shut the door of my office, got away from the desk, went and sat chair to chair right in his face. I said, hey, I got some really good news for you, man, if you'll listen to me. I got somebody that loves you so much that he died for you. He died for you, and he paid for it. I know everything seems like it's really tough right now, and, you know, daddy's in prison, and brother got shot. I know it's lowest can be. I can't imagine. But I want you to know this. You got somebody that has a great plan for you. Coach, you don't know what I've done, Coach. You don't need to go through all that. You don't know where I've been. You don't know the things that I've done. I'm bad. I'm worthless. I may look good in these jeans and these shoulder pads and these pants. I'm worthless. I said, no, you're not. No, you're not, man. This man I'm talking about knows every hair on your head. He knows all about you. He's got a plan for you. We're going to get it right today. I'm going to go with you to the funeral, and we're going to get back, and you're going to finish this. What I'm so proud of, more than that ring, more than that championship at Murray State, is when he texts me and he emails me and says, hey, Coach, I'm the father that I am today because of a 30-minute conversation when somebody gave me hope. Somebody showed me the way. Hey, Coach, I teach Sunday school now. I got my 2 kids in church, Coach. All of a sudden, that man who was nothing, yes, come on. So as much as we want to win and want to win championships, there's nothing like it. I miss, if I hadn't had a team in 15 years, and I miss it so much. I miss the celebrated locker room. I miss the grind, the sweat, taking them where they can't go by themselves, all of that. But I'll tell you what, besides that celebrated locker room, there is nothing like the reward of when that young man sends that email, hey, Coach, it's the best days of your life. Every day through 2-a-days, I'd go through these lines, whether it be during winter workouts at 5:30 in the morning or heat index 110 during 2-a-days. I'd go through the stretch lines and say, best days of your life. And they say, oh, yeah, here you go. Here come Coach Nutt. Oh, yeah. Oh, Coach, come on, Coach. Best days of your life. Coach, it's 102 degrees, Coach. We got to go through 2-a-day. Now, we're going through real 2-a-days now, guys. I'm not talking about 1-a-days now. I'm talking about 2-a-days. It's rough. It's a grind. And you got to push them one more time where they think they can't go. Push them one more, a little bit quicker. And I say, best days of your life. When they send that email and they send that text, at the end they say, best days of your life, Coach. I wish I had those days. I look in this room, you know, there's a few of my teammates that aren't here with us anymore. And I tell our guys, you know, you don't know about tomorrow now. Every day's a gift. Every day's a gift. I'd go down those hallways, whether it be at Ole Miss, at Arkansas, or Boise State, I'd come down the line. I'd see this young man with a frown say, hey, Johnny, what's wrong? Personal problems. Personal problems. You got cancer? No, sir. Do you have a brother in Afghan or in a war? No. Is your mother sick? No. Then you can't have any personal problems. These are the best days of your life. I get to run you 16 110-yard dashes tomorrow, baby. Come on. Every single day I'd ask them 3 questions. And you can ask these 3 questions to your dog, your cat, your wife, your girlfriend. You ask these 3. Here it is. Number 1, hey, can I trust you? Can I trust you to be the best you can be? Can I trust you to do what's right when nobody's looking? Can I trust you when the heat index is out there? Can you get your work in the summer? Hey, can I trust you when we win that game, and after that game somebody says, hey, come smoke this and come drink this, and you know it's a lie? Can I trust you? Second question, are you committed? See, a lot of them will say, hey, Coach, I'm committed. If you'll hand me the ball like you did Darren McFadden, I'll play tailback for you. Give me 30 carries, Coach. I'll be your tailback. No, I'm talking about a commitment where you put both feet in and you might have to block for someone, or you might have to block for an extra point. I'm talking about something so small to be a difference. Are you committed? And the third thing is, do you care? Do you really care? You know, one thing I love about this Saturday morning, I know you got a bishop that cares that he would do this on a Saturday morning, to have men talk about real men things and have fellowship on a Saturday morning when you could be doing something else, laying up, doing something else, go video, TVs, movies, whatever it may be, but you're here. So I know this. If I got somebody that's trustable, somebody that's committed, and somebody that cares, I've got something. I got something special. And that's all you want them to do. You want them to let them appreciate this life so much and take them where they can't go. I had the privilege to be around Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders was 5'5" when he got out of high school from Wichita, Kansas. I was an assistant at Oklahoma State. He was 157 pounds his freshman year. When he drove from Wichita, he drove in a car. He has like 10 sisters and one brother. He got out in his Converse sneakers, and that afternoon we did 40s, and he ran like a 4.37 flat. And he jumped up about 43 inches on his vertical jump. Y'all, that's jumping. That is getting up. But here's what I love about Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders would cross that last white line for a touchdown, and he'd hand the ball to the official. He was in the Holiday Bowl, and he scored his fourth touchdown, and Pat Jones says, go get Barry. We're going to break the Holiday Bowl record. I go to Barry. I said, Barry, Coach Jones wants you to break this record. We're getting ready to score. We're on the 2-yard line. He wants you to come break it. Let Gerald Hudson was his backup. Coach, let Gerald have this one. I said, no, he wants you to break the record. No, Gerald. I want Gerald to get it. It's this unselfish heart, and it's not always out there. My father coached a young man by the name of Benny Fuller. He scored 102 points in one game, and we was at Leola one night, Leola, Arkansas, and I'm the guy on the bench. I was 9 years old. I was on the bench. I'm the one after the game on the bus. I'm the one that gets the cardboard box and hand out 16 paper sacks of bologna sandwiches. That was my job. I love to hand out. And I said, Dad, everybody's got one. There's one sack left. Did all of them get one? I said, yes, sir. That one's for you. That bologna sandwich was right, y'all. Boy, it was good. Woo, that was thick. It was good. But this particular time, the first quarter wasn't going too well. Corliss, my dad, goes up to this official and says, time out, animated, time out. He doesn't wait till the players to come to the bench. He meets them. He meets them on the court. And I'm sitting there. I've never seen him do this before. He's on the court with his basketball, 5 players in a semicircle, and he takes his first 2 forefingers. He goes up to the first player, David Howell, goes up and says, no sweat. Goes to the second guy, goes across his forehead and says, no sweat. Third guy, fourth guy, no sweat. Benny Fuller at the end, he says, why only one sweating for you? Why you won't sweat for him? Hey, guys, we got to sweat for one another. We got to sweat for one another. That stuck with me since I've been 9 years old, so I wanted to make sure them Razorbacks and them Hogs, they played with sweat. They played hard. You got to play hard. And there's so many times where that 2 a.m. call. That's what I don't miss. I don't miss a couple of things, bitch. I don't miss the NIL right now. I want the players to get paid, but I don't like when one's getting paid $7 million, one in the left guard get paid $10,000. I don't like that. But there's something about where that 2 a.m. call, where here we go. That mother handed me her most prized possession. She handed me her son. And it's easy in the recruiting room, in that living room, to say, I'm going to take care of your son. I'm going to take care of your son. Will you take care of him at 2 a.m.? Will you take care if he makes a mistake? Will you take care if he's not quite trustable? He's not quite committed right now. He doesn't quite care. He doesn't know where he is right now. Now will you go? Hey, guys, you're that difference maker. It could be that person that sits right next to you in that shop, and he's watching you. He's watching the way you walk, and he watches the way you talk. He's watching the words you use, and he wants to know is something a little bit different about this guy. What does he have? What does he have? And the one thing I know in this world today, we got to have our Lord and Savior. When I went to Bible school, my mom was so good at getting us to church. I went to the Bible school, and I never will forget, I was scared to death in the 3rd grade. Went in there, and this teacher says to me, "Does your light shine?" I didn't say nothing. "Does your light shine?" I just went on. My buddy started playing. I went to home. My mom. She said, "How'd it go?" I said, "Mom, this one teacher wants to know, does my light shine?" What does that mean? Son, listen. And I'm so thankful I had a mother that would stop what she was doing. She taught 8 hours a day at the Arkansas School for the Deaf, taught English, and had 3 meals a day, and did our wash and fixed food, did everything with a smile on her face. She stopped what she's doing and said, "Son, I want to get out this verse. It's Matthew 5:16. I said, "What is it?" It's talking about that light shining. It says, "Let your light shine before men. They may see your good works, and that way you're going to glorify your Father who's in heaven." Oh, okay. I said, "Is my light shining?" "You got to make it shine." Okay. So I had this responsibility. This, as the oldest of 4 brothers, I was the oldest one of 4. I wanted to make sure that my light was shining. I wanted to make sure that I was that example for those other 3. And I felt this responsibility. And so I just encourage you to let that light shine and be a difference maker. You know? And so I finish up with this, that I thought I was going to be in the NFL or both. But then there was another verse. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, "Trust not in your own understanding, not in yours. Your plans, nah." Sometimes I can just see him sometime up there just laughing. "You think you're doing okay?" All right. "You think you're going to the NFL, NBA? Okay. No, I got something else for you." And that's what I feel. I feel everybody has an unbelievable purpose. And I just appreciate the time today that y'all allowed me to come. And appreciate Bishop Arnold. Thank you for having me. And keep being a difference maker. Thank you.